So solving. So we're going to start off with the definitions. Go ahead and pause the video and write down these 4 definitions for inequality, equation, equivalent, and solution. So inequality means not equal. We're comparing expressions with a less than, greater than, less than or equal to, or greater than equal to sign. An equation is a mathematical sentence to show that 2 expressions are equivalent. And that's when we use the equal sign. Equivalent means equal in value, the same. And then solution is a value that makes an equation or expression true. So if I know that x equals 10 and I plug it into an equation, 15 should equal 2 times x, which we just said was 10, minus 5. And 2 times 10 is 20, minus 5 is 15. So this would be a solution to this equation. So let's work on some examples. Let's start off with this first example. It says solve for x. So I like to draw a line down my equal sign just to separate my 2 sides of the equations. And anytime I see a parentheses, I know I have to simplify that first. So that means multiplying 2 times whatever's inside the parentheses. So 2 times 3x gives me 6x, and 2 times 4 is a positive 8 because it was positive 4. So then minus 4x minus 10 equals 0. So then I need to look at my like terms. So in here I see I have a 6x and a minus 4x. Those are like terms because they both have an x. And then I have a plus 8 and a minus 10 that are like terms. So if I start off with my x's, 6x minus 4x would give me 2x. And then 8 minus 10 gives me negative 2. And that's going to equal 0. So then to solve, I first get rid of the things not touching the x. I have a minus 2, so to get rid of it, I have to add 2 to both sides. So I end up with 2x equals 2. In the last step, since 2 and x are touching, they're being multiplied. To get rid of the 2 touching the x, I divide by 2. And 2 divided by 2 is 1, so on the left side I'm left with 1x, and then on the right side I have 1. Alright, so let's look at the next one. I have 2 sets of parentheses, so I need to get rid of the parentheses first. So the number in front of the parentheses gets multiplied by what's inside. So for the first set of parentheses, 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 1 is 2. And then 2 times 2x is 4x, and then 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. And that equals 20. So now I'm going to go through and find my like terms. I have a 2x and a plus 4x that are like terms. And I have a negative or a plus 2 and a negative 6 that are like terms. So 2x plus 4x gives me 6x, and then 2 minus 6 gives me minus 4, and that should equal 20. So to solve for x, I'm going to add 4 to both sides, and I'm going to get 6x equals 24. And then to finish solving for x, I need to divide by 6. So 6 divided by 6 gives me 1x, and then 24 divided by 6 is 4. Alright, let's look at when we're solving for a letter, like y. So in the first one, I have an x and y in the equation, and I want to, or in the inequality, because there's an inequality symbol, and I want to solve for y. So I'm trying to get this y right here by itself. So the first thing I need to do is move the x. How am I going to get rid of a positive 5x? Well, if I'm moving the whole thing, I'm going to subtract 5x from both sides. Now, can I actually subtract 7 and 5x? No, because they're not like terms. So all I can do is put them side by side. So this 5x crosses out, and I'm left with, on this side, negative 3y. And then I still have my inequality symbol. And then on this side, I just have negative 5x plus 7. And the reason it's plus 7 is because it was a positive 7 right here. So the next thing I have to do is get rid of the negative 3 touching the y. So if they're touching, that means they're being multiplied. So to get rid of it, I have to divide. So I'm dividing everything by negative 3. Now, when I'm working with inequalities and I divide or multiply by a negative number, that makes this sign flip around. So no longer is it y is greater than, it's y is less than. Now, negative 5 divided by negative 3, when I typed it in my calculator, it was some sort of decimal. So I'm going to keep it as a fraction, and it would be 5 over 3, and then x. And then 7 divided by negative 3 was also a decimal, so I'm going to leave it as a fraction, negative 7/3. So y is less than 5 over 3x minus 7 over 3. All right, let's look at the next one. L is equal to 6 plus ky. Remember, I'm solving for y, so I need to get y by itself. So the first thing I'm going to get rid of is whatever's not touching the y, and in this case, it's the 6. So I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. So when I subtract 6 from L, they're not like terms, so I get L minus 6 is equal to ky. And the last thing I need to do in order to solve for y is get rid of the k, which is actually touching the y. So to get rid of it when it's touching the y, I divide by that letter. So I end up with y is equal to L minus 6 divided by k, or we could also write y is equal to L over k minus 6 over k. All right, the last one says, in the following equation, if r is equal to 21, find the value of m for m is equal to 9 times r minus 3 plus 14. So that means if r is equal to 21, I can replace this r with the number 21. So m is equal to 9, and then parentheses, 21 minus 3 plus 14. So this becomes m is equal to 9 times 18 plus 14. So then I need to multiply 9 times 18, which would give you 162 plus 14, and that means m is equal to 176.